This hour for you on Daybreak, St. Louis is going to get extra help in the fight to lower violent crimes. We'll have the details behind what it's receiving.
And the class of 2020 is finally getting a chance to graduate in Springfield. We take a look at how the ceremonies were looking during this pandemic.
Also, we wrap up our parent preseason series. We talk about getting kids ready for elementary school. That's all ahead this morning for you on Daybreak.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Today is Friday, August 7th. I'm Jennifer Abreu.
Joe Morano here. Big school focus, I've noticed. We're talking graduations, people wrapping up their school journey, and people starting it.
Yes.
Nigel's got that story for us about elementary schools, right?
Exactly. And some tips for parents on how to get kids ready, whether they will be in class or at home. That's
right. So we have that coming for you in just a few minutes. Of course, our forecast first is what matters right now. Meteorologist Elisa Raffa joining us with a nice sunrise coming up this morning.
Yeah, we've got some clouds rolling in, creating that pretty sunrise because you've got some storms igniting to the south and west.
Okay, and how spread out are those going to be today?
We'll have them get into probably just about Springfield, and then they fizzle after midday. So some of us getting in on some locally heavy rain and lightning early today. We'll have a pretty sunrise to start this morning. It is 69 degrees in Springfield with dew points in the 60s, so it's pretty sticky out there this morning. Again, you've got these showers and storms igniting to the south and west with some locally heavy downpours from the Joplin area down towards Anderson and then getting into northwest Arkansas. A bigger cluster of lots of lightning and heavy rain back in Oklahoma, so we're watching that work its way eastward. It's 68 degrees in Branson, 71 in Joplin. Cooler and less humid to the north and east around Rolla. It is much more humid where the storms are at to the west, so we'll start out with possibly some wet roads out there this morning as those storms work their way in, and then they fizzle as we head through the afternoon. So for your delivery forecast, packages will likely dry this afternoon because the storm chances will be healthiest early. After 12 noon, we'll find just some clouds and temperatures in the middle 80s. Details on some spotty storms and heat for the weekend coming up in a couple of minutes.
New this morning, we wrap up our parent preseason series. We do that by checking in with Color 10's Nigel McDonald live in the newsroom with advice for families with kids headed to elementary school. Nigel, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Joe, good morning. The start of a new school year can bring lots of excitement, but it can also bring a bit of anxiety for kiddos and their parents. Help calm your family's fears with these teacher-approved tips.
Going into school, we know that we're going to be wearing masks, and that's the safest for our kids right now.
Sarah Mancusi teaches second grade for Nixa Schools and says she too is preparing her 8-year-old for the changes.
One of the things that I asked her to do the other day was to sit down and read a book with a mask on.
She says this is a good way to get your child used to wearing a mask for longer periods of time, and says she found an accessory that can actually make the process a bit easier.
It's a lanyard that you actually connect to your mask. So when she's able to be socially distant in the classroom or socially distant during PE or recess, she'll be able to take off her mask and it will hang from her lanyard.
Mancusi says routines are especially important for little learners.
When they get ready to come into the classroom, they're excited. They're not focusing so much on the mask.
Don't forget to practice hand washing with your child.
Kids love to run their fingers down the wall or pick at their eyes or their ears. We want to make sure that they stop with touching their face all the time. And if they do, because I still do by accident, then go wash your hands for 20 seconds.
As for virtual learning days, Mancusi says,
sit back, help them learn the platform, but let them do the learning. Let them feel that excitement when they figure out, oh my goodness, this is how I regroup with addition, or this is how I make sense of this vocabulary word.
Well, Mancusi says that one thing she does with her own daughter is a sticker incentive chart. She says it could be as simple as letting the child have extra outdoor time or iPad time when they reach their goal. She says you'll be surprised how motivated your student will be to complete his or her virtual learning task. Reporting live from the newsroom, Nigel McDonald, Ozarks First.
Naja, thank you. And some proud parents are celebrating their kids' high school graduation. Two commencement ceremonies for Springfield Public Schools were pushed back this year, but they're happening now, yesterday and today. At Hillcrest High School's graduation yesterday afternoon, every student was required to wear a mask, stand and sit 6 feet apart. Family and friends attending were also required to wear a mask. The ceremony was at JQH Arena and every other row of seating was blocked off for social distancing. A few graduating seniors said they would never have imagined their graduation ceremony would take place in the middle of a pandemic.
My favorite high school memory was probably whenever we had our Powder Puff tournament.
My favorite high school memory was definitely pieing my English teacher in the face.
I never once thought that this would happen. It just feels weird because it feels like today isn't graduation. I feel like I finished in March.
It's kind of crazy. It's definitely unexpected.
Definitely excited to just kind of move on to the next chapter of life and forget about high school.
Parkview and Glendale High School senior class graduated yesterday as well. Kickapoo and Central will honor their graduates today at 3 and 7 p.m.
Around the Ozarks for you, 2 business owners are suing the city of Branson for its face mask ordinance. Attorney and former Springfield City Council member Christy Fulnecke is representing them. The suit argues the ordinance violates the rights of people who live in and visit Branson and that it also hurts tourism. Bo DeYager says costs for businesses are going up and the majority of people in town did not want that masking mandate.
One person who attended Branson High School's graduation this last weekend has tested positive for the coronavirus. The Taney County Health Department says close contacts have been notified about their possible exposure.
31 inmates and 5 staff members at the Greene County Jail have tested positive as well. Only 2 inmates are showing symptoms. 40 others are quarantined. All positive cases started in one housing unit, which is not attached to the main facility. The sheriff's office says it's continuing to practice safety precautions. Federal agents will be coming to St. Louis in an effort to fight violent crime. According to U.S. Attorney Jeff Jensen, 50 federal law enforcement officers that are part of Operation Legend will be focused on active shooters, homicides, gangs, and will patrol the most distressed neighborhoods in the city. Jensen was joined by Governor Parson and city leaders for a press conference where they announced more details about this initiative.
Whether it's the federal level, the state level, the counties, or the cities, it's going to take all of us working together to really go after this problem. And it's going to take a real effort of hard work to go out here and to take these violent criminals off the street.
The program launched in early July and began in Kansas City and was later expanded to include Cleveland, Detroit, and Milwaukee.
We're watching some showers and storms ignite to our south and west this morning, from Joplin to Anderson and then getting into northwest Arkansas with a huge cluster of storms back in Oklahoma. Details on where this is going and a look at your weekend forecast is coming up next.
From Color 10 Ozarks First, Jennifer Abreu, Joe Morano, and weather with meteorologist Elisa Rafa. This is Color 10 News Daybreak.